Kan døde blive genfødt? Er der et liv efter døden? Det tror denne dreng.
Hello, my name's Camden.
Cameron husker et andet liv på den afsides skotske ø Barra, der ligger mere end 300 kilometer fra hans hjem i Glasgow.
I lived in the White House with my mum and dad and my 3 brothers and sisters.
And he just talks about, I was in Barra and I fell through to you. And I'm saying, what do you mean? And he'll say, no, it was just like a hole and I fell through.
Children from all over the world report memories of previous lives. It's a pretty interesting phenomenon.
Sammen med psykiateren Jim Tucker drager Cameron og hans mor afsted for at finde beviser på hans fortidige liv. Er der en logisk forklaring på de usædvanlige sammentræf, der følger? Eller er der ukendte kræfter på spil? Norma Macaulay er enlig mor og bor i Glasgow sammen med sine 2 sønner.
Well, I've got 2 boys, lovely boys, and even if I say so myself. I've got Martin, who's 6, and I've got Cameron, who's 5.
Lige siden Cameron begyndte at snakke, har han beskrevet livet som barn på Barra. En afsides ø i Skotlands ydre Hebrider.
I lived in the White House with my mum and dad and my 3 brothers and sisters.
Siden Cameron var 2 år, har han fortalt den samme historie til sin familie. I takt med, at han er blevet ældre, har historien ikke ændret sig, men er blot blevet mere detaljeret. Norma kunne ikke forstå, hvordan Cameron kunne have kendskab til Barra, og da slet ikke, hvordan han kunne have så tydelige minder om livet på øen.
At first I just thought, oh, he's making things up. And then I was thinking, how does he know the name Barra? Why is it Barra where none of us have been or have any connection with?
Barra ligger på Skotlands vestkyst, 350 km vest for Glasgow. Øen kan kun nås efter en lang skibsrejse eller en time-lang flyvetur. Det er en lille forpost mod vest på de britiske øer med omkring 1000 indbyggere.
My favourite place in Barra was the beach, and I took my dog with me and I play with him and my brothers and sisters to play.
He used to say, I'm a Barra boy, I'm a Barra boy.
The planes must have landed on the beach.
He said there's like a small beach. He says and like small planes and they land on the beach.
At Barra is a loads of place to run around, but here is not a lot because the houses are near each other.
I did one time say one of these days we will go up and see Barra, and then it's like, well, I'll show you where my house is, and I'll show you round. Will we see your Barra dad?
No.
Why not?
Because he's dead.
He's dead. He says, my real Barra dad didn't look left and right.
My Barra dad got knocked down.
Cameron hævder oven i købet, at han kender sin Barra-fars navn.
Shane Robertson.
Shane Robertson?
Yes.
So who was Shane Robertson again?
My Barra dad.
My Barra dad.
Was that fast?
Is that the one that got knocked down?
Venner og naboer er også blevet fascineret af Camerons historie. Naboen Diane Miller har kendt Cameron helt fra fødslen. Hendes søn Aaron voksede op med ham.
When they were about 2 was when Cameron started to speak about his Barra family.
And my brothers and sisters and my friends.
Well, you get friends in Barra too?
My house in Barra and family in Barra, because Cameron was adamant he had this other family.
What was his name?
Shane Robertson.
And he would tell you over and over again, so you know he wasn't just making it up there and then.
And he got knocked over by a car.
Til at begynde med affærdigede Camerons onkel, Ian Watson, nevøens historie som pure fantasi. Men som tiden gik, blev det sværere og sværere at bortforklare.
It's just the fact that he's just consistent in, the things that he's saying and the story that he keeps coming up with. And over the 3 years, he's never wavered from it. If you look at his face when he's telling you these things, he believes they're true.
My dad and mum had long hair and she got cut short.
They'll say, I was with my Barra mum before you had me, before I came to this family. And he just keeps saying to me, you'll really like her, she's really nice. One time I said to him, joking, do you love me or your Barra mum? And he says, I love you both the same. I thought he would have said me, but he never.
Camerons voksende følelsesmæssige tilknytning til hans Barra-mor gjorde Norma bekymret. Han kom til at savne hende så meget, at han begyndte at udvise ægte symptomer på sorg.
One day when he was at the nursery, he got quite upset. He was saying rather than me picking him up that day, he wanted his Barra mum to come and get him. When the big tears were running down his face, and he just kept saying, I have to go to Barra, I have to go to Barra, my family are missing me. How do you deal with that? What do you do? What do you say to him?
Normas første stop i sin søgen efter svar er Dr. Chris French, der er psykolog. Han er redaktør på bladet Skeptic, der undersøger og afmystificerer paranormale fænomener. Hun håber, at han måske har en fornuftig forklaring.
You can get situations where I would bet my bottom dollar that what we're dealing with are false memories. I mean, kids have fantastic imaginations, as I'm sure you're aware. Obviously, these days, we've got lots of TV programs, lots of TV channels, we've got the internet. Yeah. Is there any possibility, do you think, that he might have, say, seen something on TV at some point, some program that
I'm not saying it's not possible, but I've never seen Barra on the television. I'm trying to think of times that Cameron would be watching programmes without me or just like that sort of programme, but not to my knowledge.
But I mean, it is possible there was someone who told Cameron stories about life on the island of Barra and then moved away.
Well, I know everybody kind of round about, and as I say, especially the fact that Martin and Cameron's so close in age, so why doesn't Martin know all this?
Okay, I mean, it may be that...
I'm just saying that
I take your point entirely.
I take yours, but I'm just saying, I'd be more than practically 100% say, but there's nobody been told about Barra. I've asked my family. None of us know even Andy. It comes from Barra, been to Barra.
But it may not be coming from your family. Yeah. You're either dealing with a situation where he has picked up the information through normal sources, or maybe, just maybe, there's something kind of much more interesting and challenging going on here.
Efter besøget står Norma tilbage med flere spørgsmål end svar. Er det muligt, at Camerons detaljerede historie ikke er andet end fantasi? Normas næste stop er hos Karen Majors, der er skolepsykolog med speciale i børn og deres fantasiverden.
Pleased to meet you.
And you.
Cameron's mum.
It's really interesting. Basically, how Cameron describes his world really seems to be quite different from how children with imaginary friends and imaginary worlds describe their experiences. He's saying it's real, and even very young children with imaginary friends will say they're only pretend, or they'll call them my invisible friends. Children who have imaginary creations feel in control of those imaginary creations, so they can determine what's going to happen in that world, and it really feels like Cameron isn't able to direct what's going there at all. There is a consistent pattern, and Cameron's experiences don't really fit into that pattern, so I think it's about exploring other possible interpretations about how to understand Cameron's experience.
Karens konklusioner styrker Normas tro på, at Camerons beskrivelser af livet på Barra er usædvanlig. Den adskiller sig fra andre børns fantasiverdener, fordi han tror på, den er ægte. Men det er han ikke enig om. Fra de seneste 40 år kender man til mere end 2.500 tilfælde med børn, der har hævdet, de har levet et andet liv. På Virginia Universitet i USA har man oprettet en hel afdeling, der skal efterforske disse historier. Psykiateren Jim Tucker er leder af denne afdeling.
So this is a worldwide phenomenon. It takes place in places and families with a belief in reincarnation and places and families without a belief in reincarnation. And in a number of the cases, the child's statements have been verified to be accurate.
Mange af disse tilfælde rummer et mønster med ensartede og detaljerede oplysninger.
The children will usually start talking about these memories at a very early age, usually 2 or 3. Some of them talk about them matter-of-factly, but other children use great emotion in describing these things and will often long for the previous family.
Jim dokumenterer barnets erindringer og undersøger, om der kan være forbindelse til et menneske, der rent faktisk har levet før. Mange af sagerne synes at trodse enkle, logiske forklaringer. En af Jim Tuckers mest omtalte sager var en dreng, han undersøgte fra det amerikanske Midtvesten.
This is a very interesting case of a boy who had memories of being his grandfather. And he said that God gives you a card to come back. And I guess this is a drawing of the card that he did.
Barnet, der tegnede det her kort, hedder Gus Taylor. Lige siden han var ganske lille, har han troet, at han i et tidligere liv var sin egen farfar. I dag er Gus 10 år.
When he was about 1.5, I was changing his diaper on his changing table, and he all of a sudden just looked at me and said, "You know, when I was your age, I used to change your diaper." And I went, whoa, this is weird.
Gus was named for his grandfather, and his full name is August. His grandfather had died the year before he was born, so he really didn't, he never got to know his grandfather. But he would insist that he was Grandpa Augie. If we were referring to Grandpa Augie, he would just say, you mean me? You know, he was just very adamant, like, we should know that he is Grandpa Augie.
Where's me?
There. There.
Where's me again? See if you can find me somewhere else.
Gus var 4 år, da Ron fik et gammelt familiefotoalbum. Til forældrenes store forbløffelse var Gus i stand til at udpege sin farfar på et gammelt klassebillede. Han udpegede også den allerførste bil, hans farfar nogensinde havde ejet.
He showed me a picture, and then I said, that was my first car. And then my dad was like, that's weird, because the car was Grandpa Augie's first car. So it was all scared.
Kathy og Ron var fascineret af, at deres søn var i stand til at udpege sin farfar på fotografierne. Men en dag fortalte Gus dem noget, der forvandlede deres fascination til forfærdelse.
Gus and I were chatting, and he started saying something about Grandpa Augie, which wasn't unusual. And I said to him, when you were Grandpa Augie, did you have any sisters or brothers? He said, well, I had a sister, but she died. And so that sort of caught my attention because, you know, we haven't had any deaths in the family. And he said, well, she died. And I just sort of looked at him and he said, yeah, she turned to a fish. She died, some bad guys.
I just was flabbergasted. I really was just I was speechless because I just couldn't understand how he would know anything about that.
Apparently what happened was his aunt was murdered and her body was dumped into the San Francisco Bay.
There was no way he could know anything about her circumstances and how she died because it was never discussed. And was barely discussed with me, with him, in my family. To hear my son, who didn't know my father, didn't know his aunt who was murdered, speak about this, and because that's when I just went, there's something going on here that I just don't understand.
For Kathy Taylor stod sønnens tro på, at han havde været sin egen farfar, i skærende kontrast til hendes egen religiøse opvækst.
I grew up a Southern Baptist. My father's a Southern Baptist minister, and Southern Baptists certainly don't teach anything about reincarnation. So that was not, that was furthest from my mind when Gus started saying these things. This one day he sort of popped up and looked at me and said, Mom, when we die, we get to come back. And he looked at me again and he said, I used to be big and now I'm a kid again. And he was just very excited about this. He said that God gave him a ticket. And, he also referred to a porthole and that he came through a porthole and that he used to be big and all of a sudden he's through this porthole and then he's a kid again.
Gusses beskrivelse af genfødslen i Amerika har flere paralleller til Camerons beretninger i Skotland.
He talks about falling through from Barra to here. I asked him, how did you get here? And he just talks about, I was in Barra and I fell through to you. And I'm saying, what do you mean? And he'll say, no, it was just like a hole and I fell through, and that's all he says. It used to be Caitlin, and what was the other one?
Megan.
Megan.
You're fancy Megan, I get that. You fancy everyone the whole way. Not doing you.
Aaron and Cameron had been playing, and Aaron had mentioned how it's okay if you die because Cameron said you come back again as somebody else, so it didn't matter if you died.
Norma har indset, at der ikke findes nogen nemme svar på de spørgsmål, som Camerons minder har rejst. Cameron har flere gange plaget om at komme til Barra. Norma har omsider besluttet at rejse derud.
We are going to go to Barra. I mean, it wasn't a decision that was made lightly. I've gave it an awful lot of thought, stood up to an awful lot of folk that were against me doing it, and I just hope I proved them that I was right to do what I've done. Come on.
Måske kan rejsen give en forklaring på Camerons minder, eller også kan den give ham ro i sjælen.
You want to run now? I think I'm hoping that when Cameron goes, it gives them proof, or, I mean, maybe go here and they'll say, that's not Barra, so then that's fine, that's not Barra, end of story, that's the end of it. But I think it's reached a point, it's went too far. It's gone too far just to leave it now.
På Virginia Universitet har Jim Tucker talt med Norma og fulgt Camerons tilfælde med stor interesse.
Well, Cameron's case certainly sounds like a very promising one. He's given the name of a place which fortunately turns out to be a rather small place, and he's also given the name of a person. So with all the details that he's given, if we're able to verify a match, that would be quite intriguing.
For Jim er det en enestående mulighed at kunne følge et tilfælde i det virkelige liv. Han flyver fra Virginia til Glasgow for at ledsage Norma og for personligt at følge historien.
I mean, as it stands now, it's a very interesting story. If we're able to verify the statements, then it becomes more than that, because then it becomes evidence that he actually does have memories that have carried over from a previous life.
This is Cameron.
Hi, Cameron.
Cameron, you saying hello?
Hello.
I'm Dr. Tucker. How are you?
This is Dr.
Hi,
Tucker.
Martin. What can you tell me about the house that you lived in?
It was white.
How many stories were there? Was it just one level, or was it more than one?
One level.
Yeah. Did you see your dad get knocked out by the car? Yeah. You remember his name? Yeah, what was his name?
Shane Robertson.
Shane Robertson. Do you remember what he looked like?
He had spiky hair and those weird shirts.
Spiky hair, is that what you
And
said?
all those wore shirts.
So was
Endelig har Norma en at tale med, der virkelig forstår hendes oplevelse.
remind him of it?
It was getting to a point he was that convincing. I'm sure folk thought I've adopted him, or what he wasn't really mine, because he spoke so convincing about this other family.
And has it slowed down, or is it still going as strong as ever?
It calmed down for a wee while, but then it's back.
Is he excited about the trip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Efter i 3 år at have hørt på Camerons beskrivelser af livet på den afsides ø, tager Norma og Martin ham med ud på en rejse i en anden tid.
How's he going to react? What if he gets upset? What if we go and these things are there, how he's described?
Omsider skal Cameron besøge det sted, han kalder hjem. De har følge af psykiateren Jim Tucker, der er ekspert i børns erindringer om et tidligere liv. Cameron er overbevist om, at hans families navn var Robertson, og at han boede i et stort hvidt hus. Et hus fuldt af børn. Han siger, at han havde en sort og hvid hund. Fra huset var der udsigt til havet, og man kunne se fly lande, ikke på landingsbanen, men på stranden. Har nogen af disse minder overhovedet hold i virkeligheden?
You know, there's a concern that if he really is having memories of a previous life, that taking him back to that place might be traumatic. But what usually is the case is actually the reverse, that seeing the old place kind of puts the memories in perspective so that the child is then able to let go of them more.
The planes was to land on the beach. I told you it was true.
You recognise it? Yeah. You okay? Yeah, good boy.
I told you everything was true.
It's just after saying I told you it was all true. Feel happy to be here?
Yeah. It looks nice here. Looks nice here.
De går ind i terminalen for at hente deres bagage.
He was saying he used to go over that bit over there. I mean, they used to see the rainbows. They used to try and jump up and get them. They're too high, aren't they?
Well, we're certainly off to a good start. I mean, he feels that he recognizes the place. He said to his brother, I told you it was true, and he's very excited about being here.
I must have always come down to this bit and I must have up to the beach.
Did you? You'll be able to show me, won't you?
Very exciting. If we can verify his statements, it'll be a great case. Looks like a place that doesn't change too rapidly, so hopefully he'll be able to recognize some things.
Feel happy to be back.
Feel happy to be back, do you? You look happy to be back.
Næste morgen går efterforskningen for alvor i gang. Norma og Jim besøger den lokale historiker for at lede efter Robertson-familien og den mand, Cameron kalder sin barra-far.
My brother dad was called Shane Robertson and he got knocked down.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Norma. Pleased to meet you.
Callum McNeil er øens lokale historiker.
Callum McNeil.
Nice to meet you.
Certainly the names don't immediately come to my mind. Certainly the name Robertson does feature, but certainly not the name Shane. And the name Robertson itself only features occasionally in the history of the islands.
Intet tyder på, at en familie ved navn Robertson boede i et hus ved kysten. Hvis Cameron har taget fejl af navnet, hvad så med huset?
I could see the beach when I looked out the window, and sometimes my brothers and sisters could go by themselves, and I looked out my window, see the planes land on the beach. at my brother started black funny and how you die as you just go like that.
Han er kommet med oplysninger om området og den periode, han sagde, han boede på øen i.
Since he's talked about the planes landing and talked about phones, what sort of era would that put him in?
More than likely after the war.
After the
More than likely after the war.
And since he's talked about the plane landing and seeing that, we're probably thinking of a family toward the north end.
Oh, yes, I would say so. If the to and fro of aircraft from the beaches featuring highly, that would indicate the north end of the island.
De har ikke meget at gå efter, men de begiver sig afsted og kører tilbage til den nordlige del af øen.
I thought he was fine, but I don't know about him. I was starting to feel anxious and saying, well, I hope he does recognise something for his sake and probably for my own, because I'm desperately looking for answers as well.
Well, I think it's disappointing if a child goes to a place and doesn't recognize things. Often what happens is that by the time the child gets taken to the previous place, they're beginning to lose the memories anyway. Children seem to lose these memories by the age of 6 or 7. And this is the age where children are starting school and getting more fully wrapped up in this life.
De er kørt forbi mange af øens huse. Nogle af dem er hvide, andre ligger nær havet. Men Cameron kan ikke genkende nogen af dem.
Sometimes I say I wish I could get in his head just for 5 minutes to see what it feels like to him. Because obviously to him it's real.
My dad and mum had long hair and she got cut short.
Senere samme dag spacerer de en tur på stranden. Det er muligt, de voksne er skuffede, men Cameron er lykkelig over at være på øen.
He's delirious about being here, and at one point he actually said to me, is my face shiny? Is it red? Is it shiny? I'm just so happy. He keeps saying to Martin, see, I told you, it's not lies, it's true, we're really here, it's real.
Bortset fra flyene, der lander på stranden, har der ikke været nogen ligheder mellem Camerons erindringer og øen.
I actually spoke to him this morning and saying to him, look, if he doesn't remember things, it's okay to say he doesn't remember, because I'm worried that he feels pressured into saying things. And he's saying, no, I won't, I'll tell you, Mummy.
Der er ikke noget hvidt hus med udsigt over stranden, hvor flyene lander. Ingen sort og hvid hund. Ingen familie Robertson. De tager tilbage til hotellet. Sporet er blevet koldt. Men næste morgen bliver de ringet op af Callum McNeil. Han siger, det haster. Han har nye oplysninger.
Phone call today informed me that there were people living with the name Robertson on the north end of the island, in a house by the shore. It's a white house by the shore. Couldn't get much closer to the shore.
Callum havde kun optegnelser om ejendomme, der var ejet af øboere. Men familien Robertson stammede fra fastlandet.
Oh yes, yes.
And when were they there?
60s, 70s, I believe. Yeah.
So we know exactly which house it was. We'd be able to go see it.
Sunderland.
De får anvisninger, der sender dem ud på en anden vej end dem, de tidligere har kørt. Jim og Norma har ikke fortalt Cameron, hvor de er på vej hen. De ønsker ikke at påvirke hans reaktion eller at skuffe ham. De følger en lille kystvej. Huset kommer til syne, da de kommer ud af det sidste sving.
What's wrong? A wee bit. You all right? Is this your house? No, you get sad. Is this your house? Yeah? It's okay.
What's wrong?
You're getting a wee bit upset.
Huh?
It's okay. Does it make you feel a wee bit sad?
Den ellers så snaksalige Cameron er blevet underligt tavs. Neden for huset er der klipper, og der er en låge til stranden.
There's a gate round there. They said that was the secret way. They called it the secret way onto the house. He's just saying he's excited, but he's sad as well. I think he's surprised and he's not sure how he's feeling. I'm not sure how I'm feeling either, to be honest. Can we come in? We've got a fire like that, haven't we?
Let me look.
What?
Look.
I know, wow. You okay?
Selvom udsmykningen og en del af møblerne er nye, har nogle af tingene, såsom pejsen, stået uforandret i årtier.
I could see the beach when I looked out the window, and something my brothers and sisters could go by themselves, and I looked out my window and I saw them playing.
The girls were in this room?
Yes.
And the boys were in the other room?
Yes. Was it the same stuff?
No. Did you just have the fire lit?
Are you glad you came here to see it?
Did you think your Barra mum was going to still be here? Eh? No. Do you miss her? Oh. You've got me, haven't you?
You about ready to go back home now? Yeah, get on the plane and fly home.
Hjemme i Glasgow har Norma aftalt møde med Ruth Borham, en slægtsforsker, der har undersøgt familien Robertsons historie for hende. Hun har fundet ud af, at familien stammede fra Glasgow, og de ejede huset på stranden i mere end 20 år. Hun har sporet en Gilly Robertson, der stadig lever i Skotland.
And I've been able to find a phone number and an address for Gillian and her husband.
Gilly Robertson ville være barn på sommerferie i huset på Barra på samme tidspunkt, som Cameron mener at have boet der.
I can pass that on to you. And
So would we be allowed to contact her?
Her address and phone number is in the BT phone book, so it's public knowledge. So that would certainly be a possibility. And she fits with the right sort of age.
Yes,
she had two brothers and a daughter.
Wow.
Norma har nu et navn og et telefonnummer på et levende medlem af Robertson-familien. Jagten på svar nærmer sig sin afslutning. Det her er huset, som Cameron hævder var hans hjem i et andet liv. Han tror, at han boede her sammen med sin familie Robertson. Huset, der fuldstændig svarer til Camerons beskrivelse, var engang ejet af en Robertson-familie, der tilbragte deres sommer der i 60'erne og 70'erne. Camerons mor, Norma, ser nu frem til at møde Chili. Men Camerons reaktion på nyheden kommer som et chok.
Last night was just an outburst. 1 minute we're laughing and joking, everything was fine, and then it was just, there was tears, and then saying he was frightened, and then the next thing him and Martin were fighting. It got a wee bit out of hand. It was like somebody had flicked a switch. He went from happy to, and it was, I'm scared, I don't want to go, Mum. But this morning he came in quite wide awake and started asking me about Jilly Robertson. And at one point I thought it was quite strange. He actually says, could Jilly be my sister if she was a wee girl at the house? And it's kind of, I think we've all been thrown a bit. Now he's asking, can he go? He wants to go and meet her. Hello. Hi there. Pleased to meet you, I'm Norma. Hello, Julie. Very nice to meet you. This is Cameron. Martin, come on. This is Cameron's big brother, Martin. He's finding somebody that's possibly his sister. Is he thinking, oh, maybe I'll need to go back to that family? Because in Cameron's mind, the Robertsons were his Barra family. And I think that's what's frightened him. I mean, it's quite frightening.
This is the house here, and down below the house, a lovely beach.
Was that what it was like when you were in Barra?
Yeah. But could you recognise it quite well when you went to see it?
Although he was saying it had changed.
Yes, you see, I think it has changed. I think the person who's bought it now has modernised it.
Yeah.
I played in the beach and took my dog and played fetch with my dog at the beach.
Could I ask you, when you went to Barra, did you have a dog? Was there a dog there?
Well, certainly Callum and Peggy, who lived in the house, they had a dog, a sheepdog.
Den sorte og hvide hund er fuldstændig som Cameron husker den. Men hvad med navnet på hans Barra-far, Shane Robertson?
Well, certainly there aren't any Shanes in our family. There were, one of my uncles was called James. Yeah. Now, Seamus, James, you know, that's quite a common connection. Yeah, one of my cousins is also called James, but certainly not a Shane. Was the car accident on Barra?
This is what we don't know. He doesn't seem to be able to tell you.
I don't know of anyone in our family who died in a car accident.
That's how I was curious as well, if maybe even there had been a child in the family had passed away. Or...
No, certainly there were no deaths of children in that close family.
Mens mange af Camerons minder passer med en usædvanlig stor præcision, er der andre, der ikke gør. Familiens navn passer, det gør beskrivelsen af huset også, og øen og hunden. Men faderskikkelsens navn og død passer ikke.
First I thought, I'm going to be disappointed if it doesn't make sense. And then there's a part of me, I think it would have been too freaky if everything was 100%. A lot of the things tie in and match up, seem to match up perfectly, where there's other things just don't fit in at all. But I look at it as, if I'm describing my past or trying to tell you things, there's things I would probably remember and tell you spot on, and there's other things, if my sister was telling the same story, it would be different. I just think there's been more things tied in than didn't.
He certainly responded to the house in a way that made it seem that this was a special place for him. He may have had some memories and emotions that somehow existed on this island beforehand in another life and then somehow carried over to him.
I personally think there's more to it than meets the eye, but there is some people, and everybody's allowed to make their own judgment, but I definitely think it's one of those things, there's something there. I can't tell you what exactly it is, but I think it's something we'll probably never know.
Når alt kommer til alt, er der ingen endegyldige svar. Men én ting ligger dog fast. De konstante minder, Cameron engang havde om et andet liv på en fjern ø, plager ham ikke længere.
I think that since Cameron's been to Barnet and the fact that we've seen it for ourselves, it's as if it's put it to rest in his mind that he doesn't have to go on and improve it anymore. And he just seems so calm about it. Before it was, everything was hyper and jumping about, and where it's like, yes, I was at Barnet, I seen my house. It's just so calm now, it's quite unbelievable the change.
Om lidt ser Basta på et alvorligt emne.
Servicen og moralen hos en bedemand burde være 100% i orden. Men sådan er det bestemt ikke altid.
Se Basta lige om lidt. I morgen kan du møde dem her. De hellige aber er en pestilens for byen, men de er ikke nemme at slippe af med. Se, hvordan det går med at få aberne til at flytte. Abeskønne gavtyve i morgen kl. 20. Og bagefter endnu en skøn gavtyv.
Stop the car! How you doing? Is this the illegal chop shop?
Eddie Murphy i den tredje og sidste frækkere end politiet tillader i morgen aften kl. 21 her på TV2.
Et pinligt forkølelsessår. Compete introducerer nu det usynlige plaster til forkølelsessår. Virker med det samme og er den hurtigste måde at behandle forkølelsessår. Usynligt, så kom bare tættere på. Compete plaster til forkølelsessår. Den hurtigste måde at behandle forkølelsessår. Usynligt.
Når vi får bygget vores megabutik, skal vi holde et kæmpe stort lagersalg.
Vi skal ikke have noget i lager.
Jamen, det lyder simpelthen så troværdigt.
Nej.
Dyson støvsuger med Carkit for kun 2.499. Spar 1.000 på vupti.com.
Er du sugen? Ha?
Med Bravo Tours kommer du ikke til at møde uforståelige rejseledere. Vi taler dansk alle sammen. Bestil nu og spar op til 1.000 kroner. Børn kommer med fra kun 1.250. Ring og få sommerkataloget nu på 70 10 10 87.
1. januar begynder arbejdet i de 98 nye kommuner og de 5 nye regioner.
Det kan godt betyde, at noget måske ikke er, hvor det plejer.
Og at nogen måske skal på plads i noget nyt.
Sådan er det. En masse ting bytter lige nu plads i det offentlige. Mennesker, inventar, computere.
For ikke at nævne alle sagerne. Det kan alt sammen godt give lidt ekstra ventetid.
Men meget bliver også, hvor det altid har været. Skolerne for eksempel.
Sygehusene.
Og alle plejehjemmene. Se, hvordan det offentlige flytter i dit område. Gå ind på din kommune eller regions hjemmeside og bliv klogere på det nye Danmarkskort.
Jeg siger, det er hårdt at være tilbage på skolebænken, men også sjovt. Personligt har jeg ikke haft noget kendskab hverken til tegning eller design eller noget som helst. Jeg vil sige, at alle kan lære det. Jeg glæder mig utrolig meget til at komme i gang med de store projekter.
Har du køkkensans og lyst til nyt job? Så besøg hthjob.dk.
Hej for dig og hej for mig. Hej for dit og dat. Så det skulle vi altid have, både dag og nat.
Hvis du ikke allerede er far, kan vi give dig en god grund til at blive det. Se den nye Touran på Købersdag lørdag og søndag kl. 10-16 hos Volkswagen.
Hej forældre, det er sjov. I hvor er jeg glad.
Vil du gerne vide, hvordan du kommer til at se 5 år yngre ud på et øjeblik? Mit tip. En utrolig ny foundation.
Den nye Max Factor Age Renew. Den tryller de fine linjer væk, fjerner skyggerne og gør huden strålende. Så du ser 5 år yngre ud på et øjeblik.
Det her, det er ren magi.
Se 5 år yngre ud på et øjeblik. Ny Age Renew fra Max Factor. The makeup of makeup artists.
Citybank, et øjeblik.
Farvel, du gamle klapgæld, så langt bye bye. Arrivederci til at skylde overalt. Hasta la vista, tjus adieu, salam. Hej, hej. Moin, moin til pengebøvl, helt kontokort fortalt.
Velkommen til Citybank. Hvad kan jeg hjælpe med? Lad Citybank indfri din dyre klatgæld. Ring nu på 70 10 07 70 eller besøg citybank.dk.
Når du rejser, kan du være uheldig at blive smittet med hepatitis A. Det er en virusinfektion i leveren, som kan gøre dig alvorligt syg i længere tid. Du kan blive smittet med hepatitis A, også i dele af Europa. Det sker typisk via mad, drikkevarer og dårlig hygiejne. Men du kan beskytte dig selv og din familie. Stop hepatitis allerede mens du er i Danmark. Tal med din læge, før du rejser.
Kom så! Kom så! Nu med! I må alt, hvad I har på jer. I skal op på over 500 hver måned. Kom så! Jeg ved, I har dem! Kom så, kom så, kom så! I har kun 10 måneder nu. Også dig! 10 måneder! Bliv ved! Bliv ved! Også dig! Kom så! Kom så! Kom så!
Træt af dit fitnesscenter? Så kom ind i Fitness World. Det koster kun 199 per måned, og der er ingen binding. Det er sund fornuft.
Fantastisk udsalg hos Skovsen, hvor du som en nyhed kan vælge at købe med hele 4 års rentefri kredit, betalt i små månedlige beløb over elregningen i hele Danmark. For eksempel AEG opvaskemaskine. Lavt lydniveau, topkarakter 3xA. Per måned kun 98 kroner. Kig ind til Skovsen, din lokale hvidevarespecialist.
Ondt i halsen? Ondt når du synker? Prøv Mucoangin. En ny receptfri halstablet, som lindrer smerten. Mucoangin virker smertestillende i halsen. Mucoangin indeholder ambroxolhydroklorid. Kan købes i håndkøb på apoteket.
Dagen er talt. Der er så mange liv, der er så mange valg, så mange skæbner og følelser til salg. Et hav af folk, der vil opleve.
3 gætter nu Nokia N73 til en fantastisk pris på kun 499. N73'eren er en eksklusiv mobil med et suverænt kamera på hele 3,2 megapixels. Slå til nu og få fri MSN året ud. Skynd dig ned til dine 3 forhandler.
Rosit.
Du Benson,
Ja?
hvornår skal den her rejseplan afleveres?
Hvad siger du?
Jeg siger, hvornår skal den her rejseplan afleveres?
Nå, på fredag.
Så er nettet.
Nå, hvis du er nettet, så bare log på igen.
Nej, jeg er nettet.
Er du på nettet? Jamen, så bare tryk dsb.dk. Der kan du lave dine rejseplaner. Der kan du bestille og printe billetter direkte. Og så kan du øve til togtider og priser og spil og alt muligt.
Jeg skal bare have 3 billetter.
Kabinetter?
Ja, det lyder da dejligt. Med sovs og kartoffelkontakt.
På dsb.dk kan du købe og printe billetter i netbutikken, orientere dig om ændringer i togtrafikken, eller se dine favorit-harry-film og meget mere. DSB, det er lige til.
Viasat er de nyeste film, fascinerende dokumentar og nyheder døgnet rundt. Lige nu får du en Viasat TV-pakke fra kun 99 kroner per måned. Og en parabolboks, kvit og frit. Ring 70 121 121. Besøg din forhandler eller bestil på viasat.dk. Viasat, your number one entertainer.
Danparks har hvert år over 100.000 VIP-gæster og deres forældre. Bestil vores katalog på danparks.com.